guys, Seth from Nat20 Minis here, and welcome to another entry in our Let's Paint series, where I paint various minis from various games. And today we are going to be painting some Tyranid Hormagaunts, or Gaunts for short, if you will. And today I'm going to also be showing you a technique for getting multiple minis done, and that's called batch painting. Basically what that is where you take one mini and do one part of it quickly, and then move on to the next one, as you'll see in a bit. And once that's done, I will share my thoughts on batch painting with you. I have some overall mixed feelings with it, but more on that later. For now, let's get started. Oh, and almost forgot about the colors I'll be using. Since it's High Fleet Leviathan, we're going to be using Corax White to touch up some of the areas that I missed during the priming step. Also, Abaddon Black for the base and other things. Corn Red for their talons. Everland Sunset for their eyes. Nagaroth Night for their carapace. And Ushabti Bone for their teeth. As well as Armageddon Dust for the terrain. And, of course, my various washes. The essential Null Oil Nagaric Surshade, a little bit of Reichline Flesh Shade for their exoskeletons, as well as some Caraburg Crimson for the openings on their exoskeletons. So, yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so I finished the carapaces on my gaunts, and they turned out pretty well. Pretty nice showcase of what batch painting is. So, started off with one, did the carapace on that one, then moved on to the next one, and then so on and so forth. You can see I got a little bit messy with this one. We'll have to go over that with some Corax White to balance it out, but that's okay. It's okay if you get a little messy during the base coating step, as I always say. It gets them all done pretty quickly. And during the base coating step, it's always easy to go back in and fix a few of your mistakes. So, what's next? Well, you have to paint the talons on each model, as well as like teeth and the base. Just get the base coat done. And I'm going to be applying the same technique as I did with the carapaces with batch painting. So, yeah, let's get to it. So now with the base coat out of the way, I gotta say that it turned out really well. It's a pretty clean base coat for the most part. Maybe just a couple of things that can go in and clean up here and there. But other than that, this is a really good base coat. I'm happy with how it turned out. And of course, as you can see, there are some smaller details I need to fill in, like the eyes. As you can see, I haven't gotten to those quite yet. Also need to do some shading and apply the terrain. And then once that's done, as per usual, you'll see the B-roll footage of pictures and me just moving the camera around like this in front of the models. And then once that's done, I will give my final thoughts on batch painting and generally what I think of the practice. So yeah, without further ado, here's some B-roll footage of my models. Enjoy! Hey guys, Future Seth here. So I just said that we were going to be looking at B-roll footage of the finished models, and well, that's not entirely true. Instead, I've got a little technique that I want to show you guys before we get to the finished models. But don't you worry, the finished model footage will come in a minute or two, so I promise. That's all. Let's continue the video. Thanks. Alright, so as you can see, I got the minor details and the shading done on all the models, as well as basing some of the models over here. And before I move on to the B-roll footage of me showing you the finished models, I just want to share with you a quick tip for basing these models. For starters, you'll notice that these guys are a bit difficult to knock down, even though the model itself is a bit lopsided. And my secret to that is inside the base itself. Yeah, I put in some plumber's epoxy in the base of the models, or really any weighted substance will do. But yeah, I found that epoxy usually works with keeping them up. And also, you'll notice that on these bases, I'm using Armageddon dust, as I previously mentioned. Now, this stuff, as you can tell, is a much more rocky and coarse texture than, say, Martian Iron Earth or Agrellan Earth. So, using brushes on this would undoubtedly ruin them. So, what I use instead is a little stir stick to brush it on, and toothpicks for, like, smaller recesses, like by the feet. Other than that, that's basically all I wanted to share about basing these models. And now, onto the B-roll footage. Enjoy! And there you have it. All my gaunts are now officially done. Of course, in the video, you only saw me painting 6, but this is basically the whole entire unit. There are a total of 30 Hormagaunts here. And basically the idea of them is to come in and swarm the battlefield. Basically just cutting up anything in their path. And the Tyranids also have a funny stratagem where as long as one of them's still alive, they can just go to the edge of the table and basically repopulate the whole entire unit. So yeah, that's fun. More on that in a future video. But for now, I wanted to discuss my thoughts on batch painting. So, is it a good method to use? Well, yes and no. Yes, because it's a good way to get a lot of figures done in a very short amount of time. I've used batch painting for a lot of my Tyranid units, as well as Necron warriors and some orcs that I've been commissioned to do recently. But on the other hand, batch painting isn't really the most enjoyable method. Like painting each little part of a model and then moving on to the next one, that gets a little tedious after a little while, and you start to feel like you're working on an assembly line. But as I said, it's a nice way of getting a bunch of mags done real quickly. So would I recommend it? Yeah, sometimes. Like if you've got a lot of models to go through, like I did for my Hormagaunts, then yeah, batch painting is an effective way to get through a lot of them very quickly. Just be sure to take breaks every now and again, because as I said, it's a tedious process. So yeah, that wraps up my tutorial on batch painting and painting some gaunts. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, I plan on starting a Twitch channel for live painting sessions that I'll probably be doing on weekends. So I'm going to put a link to my Twitch channel down in the description below and in my channel's description. But until then, happy painting, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace out.